welcome back to Spells from the Shelf. I'm Ammie.
I'm Paul. So glad to have you back. Today we're going to be covering Marie Lu's Red City. Buckle up, people. Savage book. Absolutely spectacular read. Genre blending, magic, star-crossed romance. Like, let's get into it. I'm excited about this one. And I don't know about you, Ammie, but and please fill me in. But like, I first heard about Marie Lu when we went to BookCon. I just walked in on a panel. Just randomly walked in, and it was a bunch of ladies talking about their books, and I heard Marie Lu, and I was like, wow, this sounds like a really good story.
I heard about it because you went to her panel. So yeah, it was at BookCon as well.
And BookCon, Endless Fruits.
Endless Fruits, which, by the way, I'm going to do a shameless plug here. We did talk about BookCon in a previous episode. It's out. Go check it out if you want to know all the tea, because they're gearing up for their 2027.
Yeah, they're going to start gearing up. So if you're thinking about going to BookCon next year, I think we laid some really good groundwork. We've got 4 different perspectives, 4 different adventures on BookCon. So definitely great plug.
Yes. And for anybody watching, you see I have my own Princess Donut right here behind me.
The show's about her, guys.
Show's all about Hermie Wormy. So you're going to see her floofy tail. But Red City, this took me by surprise. I went in blind. I think both of us did.
Same.
I read 0 reviews about it. That is my new thing lately. I want to just go in with
clean.
Yes, with my own mind. That's my new plan. And I just let the story kind of take me away.
Yeah, I love that. That's the way I like to come into books too. It's just like, let me get my perspective first before I get all this externalized nonsense. I mean, we were just talking about this with David Coe. Like, don't let the external completely shape you until after you've shaped your ideas, right?
It's a friendly reminder.
So the Red City, we've seen, like, we were talking about some of the genre blending. We've got like Godfather meets the Magicians and alchemy. So really fun. Like, there's your kind of one-liner. Summary. So summary, we'll do our first like half is the summary, and then we're going to blow everybody up with the spoilers, but that'll come after. We're going to give you a heads up and a warning on that.
Yes, we will.
So adult fantasy, right? Dark contemporary story. Story follows 2 childhood friends, Sam and Ari, and there's some gangs. They've got like broken up into syndicates, and it's kind of like this world that's hidden, right? So you've got like this is a gritty book, folks. The characters get savage. It is power at a price and at any cost sometimes. The magical system's really cool.
Yeah, it's big prices. And I think this is a good segue too. It's an urban fantasy story. So urban fantasies take place in areas that you are very familiar with. So Angel City is Los Angeles.
Yeah, we got Gotham.
Yes, we got Gotham, which I don't know if any of you's picked up on what Gotham is, but that's New York City.
If you've read Batman, you know.
And the author herself is from Los Angeles, and I liked that too about Dungeon Crawler, which we covered on here, which is I love when authors leave like pieces of themselves in a story, like their origin story to create other origin stories.
Yeah, kind of the immigrant dynamics, right? Like uprooted from one culture and into another, right? And that like cold, icy water bath of just like all new experiences in a totally different place with a different language, which sometimes you walk to in fantasy too. So fantasy is like a real good setting for that.
Yes. And that's what we have with these 2 characters, because both of them are kindred spirits in that they are immigrants to Angel City, and they both have different points of view of their experiences, and it kind of gives you that great foundation to the story. It really just sets it up right from there. I do like the childhood friend aspect, because when we first meet them, they are friends with one another, and you kind of get to see how their paths go.
Yeah, you knew they were going to be pitted against each other. Like Marie Lu sets that up really nicely. So Ari, uprooted from his family in India. Mm-hmm. Sam, raised by immigrant mother who works to shield her kind of from this alchemy underworld I was hinting at. And then Sam's own fascination kind of just draws her into this world, right? Alchemy is like this word that she heard when she was younger, when she sees the people with the lapel pin, and she just gets drawn in, right? Like it's just this one word, like alchemy, that kind of haunts the early section of the book. And then they end up on opposite sides of this escalating conflict, a little bit beyond their control, but they're forced into each other, and ambition becomes power, and loyalty becomes lies, and it's a big soup of fun reading.
It is. You know what else I thought about? West Side Story.
Yeah, yeah, which is based on Romeo and Juliet, right? Like we've got this star-crossed lover theme.
Yes, you
But
really get that theme.
yeah, I think we've got this is like the Leonardo DiCaprio and Claire Danes version of Romeo and Juliet, like dark urban fantasy style.
Yes, it has much darker elements to it. It's much more gritty. It is fast paced. What did you think? Did you find it to be fast paced?
I did. It moves for people that like real fast clip when they're reading in a quick cadence, with action packed as well as like good character development. Like this is a good book, and I think it's kind of under the radar.
Yeah.
I don't like it. It wasn't popping up on too many feeds that I saw. Like it was a deliberate, like, let me search to see what people are saying after I had read it, but
Yeah.
definitely a fun read, and yeah, I'll say it again, kind of savage.
Oh, kind of savage. I mean,
All characters like dark.
yes, guys, this was so obviously we have our two characters that we just mentioned, Sam and Ari. What I loved that Marie Lu does is she pulls in another point of view with Sam's mother, Connie. I did not expect that. And I think that's the beauty of going into a story blind, that I think a lot of us should try to get back to, because it's fun to be surprised by an author.
Yes.
And I feel like if I had looked this book up beforehand, I would have known that it wasn't just Ari and Sam's point of view, and that you were going to get this other perspective that adds that layer of dimension to it that you don't see coming. And it's just a piece of the breadcrumb almost that the author delivers to you.
Okay. Yeah, I like that.
Right? I love being surprised. Like getting hit in the head with Hermione's tail for anybody watching.
The floof. You're going to get some floof here, folks. If you're watching on YouTube, the cat is just going to be whacking her tail. And like I said, it's a Princess Donut moment where she's like, the show is about me, guys. But yeah, I think if you're and other books we've covered, I think if you like Jade City, if you like Six of Crows, Red Rising, Ember in the Ashes, I think this is a book that you could be like, oh yeah, this fits in the category, and you'll really enjoy reading it.
Yes. And another character that we get in this to discuss the characters that you meet is Will Taylor, who I did not like when I first met him. What did you?
No, generally you're not supposed to, right? Because he's kind of this cold-hearted person, and it's nice to see that there is an evolution to the character, right? Because nobody just starts off like as a cold, nasty human, right? As just like a cold concrete wall, right. And that's how we first meet Will.
Yes. It's that overarching theme: was the villain created or born? Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I do think
well, the answer we find out later on in this book.
Yes, we do. And what we have, since we mentioned that it's essentially Godfather meets Magicians, and for me meets West Side Story, which is just perfect, is you have the rival gangs in the story, but they're rival magical gangs with alchemy. And I don't think we get enough alchemy stories, and I want more.
Well, you know what? That's good, because leaving you wanting for more. Guess what? There's another book.
Yeah. Yes.
I like the idea of she gives you just enough, right? This idea that the alchemy kind of erodes your soul. We get like little hints of it with, what she does really cool. And Sanderson does this. You've commented on this, that the Witcher books do this. At the beginning of a lot of the chapters, there's like these clips or sayings, or these italicized little things that will correlate to the rest of the story. Mm-hmm. One of them was this Democritus 1869 bioalchemy, right? Like it introduces one of the chapters right before Sam performs bioalchemy, and it's like I don't know how to. It's like kind of like the epigraph. Is that what you call it? Like up at the top. Um, she opens sections with these like pseudo historical framings on alchemy, right? But this was actually a real book. Democritus and atomism in 1869. And it correlates to kind of this periodic table of elements, tracks with kind of the magical system. So she blends, I guess what I'm trying to say here in a long TLDR way is that she blends like these elements of science and pseudoscience, right? Like with real things that were published, and it kind of lends this seriousness and helps kind of build out and fill out the magical world.
It does, and it makes it tangible, I felt. I really enjoyed these little excerpts that we were getting at the beginning of the chapters because it added the layer to the magical system without feeling overwhelmed. That's something that we love to discuss here. Was the magical system overwhelming? No, I found it. She drops you into it very easily. It's explained along the way in a way that you find interesting and intriguing. The prose was perfect, how she kind of, blends these elements into the story writing. So you have a modern tale, but you're getting a little bit of like an alchemy history lesson, if you will.
Yeah, no, I think that's a great call out. Like structurally, she teases you with the magic, and you obviously felt teased the whole way because you were just saying, I want more.
Yes.
But you're not hit in the face with magic early on. It's just like Sam's adolescent curiosity about this word that she hears, and she wonders like what it means, and she knows that her mother thinks it's something, a topic that's kind of taboo, and we don't know why. And then we just we meet kind of, I don't know whether to call her a villain or what, but like the leader of the syndicate. Oh my God, her name's escaping me. Do you have her name, Ammie?
Oh goodness, I didn't write her name down. What's funny is I wrote every other character's name down. Hold on.
Come on, we gotta find it.
Leader. Guys.
It's Will's mom.
Yes.
Diamond Taylor.
Diamond. Okay. Yeah.
I had to look at it. Yeah, Diamond Taylor. But so like we know that Diamond Taylor's, a leader of these gangs, and we know that she has something to do with alchemy. But the whole point is just going back is that the magical system is slowly spoon-fed to you in a way that keeps you very intrigued.
Yes. And we have, so the two names of the different rival gangs in Angel City is Grand Central, which I loved that because Grand Central Station. and correct me if I'm saying this wrong, because I did not listen to this. And Lumens is that how you kind of thought it? Luminez. Thank you. Yes. So that is so Grand Central and Luminez. Those are the two different organizations, and
and there's other ones. There's Belle Epoque and other ones, but the ones we're focusing on in Red City up until the end is Luminez.
And you think you're going into the story when you read the synopsis for it, and I actually didn't read the synopsis for it until I finished the book. This is something else that I also didn't do. I didn't even read, like, Paulie, you came back from the panel and you said, do you want to read Red City? And I was like, sure, sign me up.
There it is.
I didn't read the synopsis. I knew nothing. So when I went back and read it, you think that you're getting just the stereotypical gang rival story with drugs, money, and power. Mm-hmm. And yes, there is the magical element, of course, because it's fantasy, but it's so much more than that. It's because you have two characters, or two mains, who are coming from such humble beginnings. You see how you get a rare view of how these two organizations and being in them could shape two humble people into who we get to see them when they're adults later on.
I like that. I think you bring up a good point. Obviously, if you're listening to this podcast, you like reading this stuff, but Marie Lu really packs in great character development, a ton of themes, magic. Like, this book really has a lot of stuff going for it, that we don't always see, right? I mean, 432 pages. I mean, that's kind of a sweet spot. You're sub 500. You're in that like 350 to 450 range that I personally really like. And I mean, it's pretty wild how much she packs in this 432 pages.
Yes. And if nobody has ever heard anything about alchemy, I'm glad that we're the first ones to mention alchemy too. But alchemy is something that gets discussed because one of the big things is alchemy. There's this like fantastical idea that you could turn nothing into gold, right?
Lead, usually lead.
Usually,
Yeah.
yeah, that you could turn it into gold and that, it could be magical. Because alchemy, so the definition, a rough definition is, the alchemy is a hidden science where the users can, transmute other objects, structures, so on and so forth. In the story, they have to sacrifice a piece of their soul in order to perform the magic. And I know that that's another overarching theme that you hear in a lot of most magic systems, which is that magic comes at some kind of cost.
Mhm.
But that's a pretty big cost.
Little shreds of your soul. Yeah.
Yes.
A lot of them don't last long. Yeah. I mean, alchemy is just such like a rich source for authors to use when you start going into the magical systems, right? So I don't know if I know you did, but the Discovery of Witches, Deborah Harkness's series,
Yes.
like the whole series starts with an alchemical manuscript. It's just it's got a lot of history to it and a lot of resource to plumb for an author.
It does.
So
And if you guys have seen the book Alchemize, which I brought up on our paperback ponderings episode, Alchemize it is a great story, but it is thick. It is not as tangible to, even though I loved that story, I didn't find it as tangible when it comes to alchemy because it took so long into the story before you understood the magic system. That's not the case in Red
yeah.
City. So I feel like, Discovery of Witches or Red City, the magic system is much more tangible and the alchemy elements. And another
Yeah.
element that I want to bring up before the spoiler section is I want to introduce sand by reading one of the excerpts before the chapter. So this excerpt was from a transcript of Johansson versus State of Massachusetts, 2009. Prosecutor, and what does it feel like? Defendant, what? Taking sand? Prosecutor, yes. Defendant, I don't know. Sorry. It feels like you are everything, like you can do anything, like you know yourself better than you have ever known yourself. It feels like you can hold the entire world in the palm of your hands. Prosecutor, and you always want more? Defendant, always.
And it's
What?
great because there's a nice tension in the book around how sand's not addictive, right? But if you're reading that like out of a court transcript, anything that offers that is going to be
Going
addictive.
to be addictive. Yes. What do you think would be the best way to describe sand? Like from the story, I was like trying to think how to best. It's such a unique element to the magic, that you have to. It enhances your
Yeah,
ability.
it's multidimensional, right? It makes you believe these things can happen and it's
Yeah.
manifestation. But it also, through that manifestation, allows you to perform things that you wouldn't normally be able to perform magically or alchemically for the book.
Yes. I was almost thinking of that idea that we don't use all of our brain, that we're only using a percentage of it at any given point in time. And that if you could tap into all of your brain, what would be possible? And I feel like that's what I thought of when I thought of sand.
Yeah, rock, paper, telekinesis. Boom, all the synapses are firing and now I've got the force and we're totally alive. It's like,
Yes. Yes. Oh man. What so many great moments. So many great moments. Should we give our ratings and kind of get into the spoiler fun section of this?
let's go.
Let's go. Okay, so this is the end for anybody who doesn't like spoilers. So thank you for listening. My rating was at first I was going to do 4.5, and I had this moment that you had a couple of episodes back. I think it was with Dungeon Crawler. Where you were like, "What? Why would I rate this 4.5? This is like, there's nothing I could really say that I didn't like about this." And that was what I had a conversation with I was like, "No, I really liked this. This was quick. It was fun. It kept me from going into a reading slump. You know, it was unique. 5 stars for me.
Yeah, I don't have a good reason why I would give it a 4.5. The only thing I was like, I'm not taking days off to read it like this, but it does move
Right.
so quickly. It's absolutely a great read. I'm with you. I think it absolutely deserves 5 stars. And it's like I said, I can't believe she packs so much into the pages that are there. Like
Yeah.
usually you've got to read, 600 pages to kind of get this kind of stuff, right? And
Yeah.
she really, I think the editing, I think there's some contributions from the editor that we need to give credit to because it's just such a perfect book.
It is. And to your point, yeah, with Alchemize, which is about 1,000 pages for reference, it took 600 pages
People
before.
love that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
people. And listen, I loved it while I was reading it. Would I reread it? Lately, I've been asking myself that. Would I reread
Mhm.
it? No. That is a
Yeah.
one and done kind of story
Mhm.
because because yes, you're taking 600 pages before you understand what's going on. That's a long time to be.
It's a lot of investment. It's
It
a lot
is.
of, yeah.
So if you guys are looking for something more like compact, that's going to give you everything that like good magic system,
Not the Chihuahua Killer.
not the Chihuahua Killer. That's a nod to our combo with DB Jackson that I loved. This is going to be the book.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
now leave us. We're going to discuss spoilers. Okay.
Oh man.
I think they're
All right.
done, Ollie. Let's go.
Uh, I don't know where to start. Do we start with like Rudra? Do we start with like Diamond? Do we start with I don't know. Where do you want to start?
We're start. Okay. I want you to start with Diamond actually, because that one, yeah, that one. When she started doing it, you're like, wait, what? Wait, what? Like every time she revealed something about the story, it was like another layer of the onion being pulled
I
back.
liked how we didn't get Diamond to be like super dark until Diamond had to kill somebody, and then she was like skinning them alive. And it was like, oh, so here's why she's the absolute top of the villain food chain here. Like
Oh,
I got it.
oh, that was so. The writing in this, guys, was very descriptive, which it
Mhm.
needed to be because this is not a flowery story. This is not like this is gonna make you look and be like, whoa, that's pretty. And I loved it. That's pretty dark and gritty. On
Yeah.
the flip side of that, Will, that I kept saying, would he do that to Sam? Because I didn't want to believe that he was that.
I was surprised he got as much redemption as he did because it did. It took me by surprise. His redeeming value.
Yes. Oh my God. So Will kills Connie. That I actually.
Sam's mom.
Yeah, Sam's mom. Sorry, guys. Yes,
Yeah.
Connie is Sam's mom. I didn't want to say that's the other point of view that we get in the story is Connie's, and I love
Yeah.
getting her point of view because when you're only seeing her from Sam's perspective, you see the hard mother, the one who's really is like struggling to hold it all together, right? Working long days, having to leave Sam by herself a lot
Mhm.
just to get by. And the descriptions that the author gives us of, Sam's apartment when she was growing up, like this small space that she's in, and just that loneliness that she felt in it, which was a theme with Sam. This lonely kid who's like striving for some kind of like affection. And I feel like that's why Diamond was able to manipulate her so well.
That and the money situation, right? Like money plays a very important theme here, and I think it's the case with anybody
Mhm.
like that doesn't come from money. You have this, there's a few moments where like Sam gets the salary jump, right? Where she's like earning nothing, they're scraping by. Her mother gets into a medical issue, and that's why she ends up seeking out Diamond Taylor. Sam seeks her out, and they start paying her like $4,000 a month, and then $8,000 a month, and then it jumps to $20,000 a month. And I'll never forget Will saying to her, like, "You're going to have a host of new problems now, but money's not going to be one of them."
Mhm.
And that was chilling and haunting in its own way. Like, I think, I was mentioning this earlier in our pre-talk, but so often we think that money's going to solve a lot of problems, and it can offer some amount of freedoms, but there's always a cost, right? There's just always this, I think early Sam thinks that money's going to solve all the problems for her and her mom. And then we find out that it ends up adding more conflict to their situation because the mom's now starting to ask a lot more questions, and that causes tension because of how Connie feels about alchemy
Yes.
and because of her experience when she first landed here.
Mhm.
So, it adds a whole new dimension of conflict that, an adolescent isn't going to think of. So I feel like Marie Lu takes us on this journey again, really well.
Really well. Yeah.
Grand Central's delivering on the promise, right? Like
Mhm.
Sam sought out Diamond in Grand Central, and the promise is delivered. We'll take care of the money part, but you're going to have to take care of some other things, and that's going to carry its own host of dark
Yes.
problems that arise.
It does. And you see the cost of it in Sam's character and the way that you're seeing the Sam that we meet when she's young, innocent, hopeful that so much of her problems are going to be solved, like Paul said, with just enough money, just enough, just a little bit more. And all it does is that's why I found the magic system to be so interesting, is that it does take pieces of the soul, because you see Sam with every destructive task that she has to do, you see it eating away at her soul. And seeing Connie on this flip side, her point of view adds a layer that Sam doesn't get to see. That at the end of the day, she is a mother who loves her daughter, but she doesn't know how to show love in the way that Sam wants her to show it. And isn't that just the human condition? Right?
Yeah.
We're all just doing our best.
I think we talk a lot about like found families on the pod, right? With like Six of Crows and other stories we've covered, the found family pattern we find often, like here with like this is an inversion of that, right? The found family is now its own kind of treacherous web to navigate, right? Like Will is hard to navigate. We know if like you cross Diamond, you're done. Yep. Like it's consistently said throughout like the middle of the book, where it's like you've got family now, and if you get hurt, we all bleed for you, and if we bleed, you bleed. So it's definitely an inversion there.
Yeah. And Ari's character, so I'm sure as many of you may have guessed, so Sam's in Grand Central and Ari is in Luminez. His beginning story is different, of course, than Sam's. Still humble. He
scouted
out. He was with a family that he enjoyed being with, and they wanted him to have opportunities, so they let him go. And I liked that the author did a very yin and yang here with Sam and Ari's stories as they progressed into the other side of their life, being in these organizations, which is that Ari is not as, he doesn't feel like as much has been taken from him. And it's almost because he knows that he is loved from his beginning life. And I feel like because Sam didn't know that Connie loves her, that it almost set her up for a different path.
Yeah, I like the yin and yang analogy. I think in a lot of ways, Ari they both make choices, right? But the sacrifices end up being different. And I think, in a lot of ways, Ari was kind of bred for, like he was specifically scouted out by Rudra. So Ari was a lot more prepared for coming into the world than Sam was. She's coming in super fresh,
Yeah, no, she is. What else surprised you about some of the reveals?
Yeah, the Connie one was tough.
That was tough. I cried. I know I talk about a lot. You guys haven't seen me tear up yet DB Jackson almost got me when he.
Ah! Dude, upcoming, like, excited for everybody to hear the Thief Taker pod. Let's see, what are some of the other reveals that surprised me? Um,
Hermione's being.
oh, the experimentation that
Yes.
that diamond does. We didn't even talk about it. It was like we kept hinting at it, but are heroes made, or like are villains created, or like,
Mhm.
or did they just come into this world as a villain? Like, Diamond Taylor experiments on her son with sand, constantly to test abilities, to test, you know, capabilities, how much somebody can withstand. So this experimentation on your own kid was dark and rough and a surprising, maybe not surprising, but yeah,
And
I'd
once
say,
once you find that out, like just the coldness in which he not only kills Connie, Sam's mother, but then actively tries to take away any shred of hope from Sam by pinning it on Ari.
mm,
And
yeah.
here's this childhood friend moment coming into play where Sam may be getting glimpses of like who she was when she first met him. Like you get these great flashback moments of Sam and Ari. I loved that the author did that. I love when authors do it in a way that adds to the story rather than distracts from it, you know?
Mhm.
Because sometimes it'll happen and you'll be like, no, I'm not ready for this. Like you didn't lead up enough to this. But it was well done. And you can see like that hope coming back and that's where that darkness of Will comes into play because he's had such darkness put upon him. Ooh,
Mhm.
chilling.
Yeah, it's his cruelty is like it was inflicted on him first, so it almost like you get this piece where you almost feel like empathetic for him, and that builds too, right? It's good tension building on the character and the complexity of the character, where he does these villainous things, but you start to understand the whys, and it's contextualized
Mhm.
versus just like straight brutality or straight evil, right? Which is
Yeah.
too binary.
Yes. No,
Like
you're
the
right.
characters aren't binary here in Red City; they're deeply complex, and you get that in them.
You really do. And I should have mentioned this in the first half, but I'm going to mention it here. So we did say that it is an adult fantasy story, which it is. It does have spicy content in it. It's not overwhelming to the plot, though. It doesn't distract from the story. It doesn't weigh it down. It doesn't feel like it's thrown in there for the sake of being thrown in there. It You can skip it easily. I feel like too. You could easily skip the chapters and it takes nothing away from the story, or you can read them and have extra added to the story. But it is an adult fantasy fiction book in that sense. But I thought it was done. Oh, Hermione. Okay.
She's here. Uh, Squirrel moment. There we go. The tail for our people that are just listening on the pod. The tail is now just like floofing and massaging one of Ammie's ears here.
It did. It scared me for a second because I was like, what? I didn't realize that she had repositioned herself. So I was expecting her tail to be on the other side of my head. Yeah, she was baking biscuits back here while Paulie was cooking when he was talking about the diamond situation.
Oh my god. So I think too the end. I like the ending a lot. There's a good setup for book two. I think there's betrayal, arrest, and separation all at the end. Like the gangs learn about Ari and Sam's connection, and it's tried to, they try to exploit it. They end up fighting together. So it's like the ending like rolls really quickly into like, oh, this, like, it's like boom, 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 really quick. Wrap up. I think it's great that they fight for each other. Ari ends up like leaving.
Yeah,
He's the one that retreats, and Ari's like, and Sam is like, no, I'm staying behind. I got to fight this fight.
I can't wait to see I did like the ending too. I liked the ending. I feel like it perfectly sets you up for the next part of the story. I did forget. This is how little I looked into this. I do believe that the second book is out, possibly.
Yeah. Let's see it. What's it called?
Well, the first one, that's a good question. And I
Uh,
feel like it's blue, the
it
cover
is, yeah, I
for
think
the
you're right because she
second
was
book.
talking about it at BookCon. So it's Silver Dawn. Um, hmm.
Silver Dawn, yes.
It
It
looks like
is,
it's 2027.
yeah. So next year. Okay.
Mhm.
I'll be ready. And I didn't realize I had actually read in my past reading life her Legend series,
Oh,
which came
okay.
out in 26. I kept saying this author's name sounds familiar to
Familiar.
me. And then when I was looking, I was like, I did read Legend. So it makes I liked her writing then. So it
Yeah.
tracks, guys.
Yeah, so it's set up Grand Central crumbles, right? Like Diamond Taylor's Empire crumbles. She spent her life building it. It looks like trying to craft will into a weapon and experimenting on your son doesn't work out. So good news there. But then that's when Bellapaw comes in and they scout out like they want Sam to kind of take over the
Mm,
remnants of Grand Central and try to like kind of build it anew. And it sounds like it's going to be a juicy second book.
I think so. It sounds like it's definitely going to be a juicy one. And let us know if you guys have read Red City yet, what you thought of it. Is there, I think the only other thing I would want to say is, did you have a favorite character?
There's so many like relationship dynamics that like I feel like every character's got like a duality, like another side by side character. It's just like I like the
Yes.
Samadari relationship. I like the Rudra versus Will mentor dynamic, right? For each of them. I don't think I had a favorite character. I really liked reading about them all,
Yeah, same.
because they're so well tied into each other, and there's so much juxtaposition around them all. So
Yes.
I didn't have a favorite here, but definitely the book rocks.
Yeah, absolutely.
You did, so you don't really have a favorite either.
No, it was a similar takeaway to what I had with Jade City and oh, there's another book that we did on here. Um oh yeah, with Amina Al Sarafa and Tapestry of Fate. I love all of them, like how they interact with what, right? Like I love,
That's
it's one of those things where I wouldn't want to just take one away from it because I enjoyed them all, and
yeah.
even the villains. I mean, you give me a good villain, I'm sad. Oh,
Hmm.
but this is definitely a good one, guys. I think, as you can tell, we both recommend you adding this to your TBR.
Yeah, do it. You will not be disappointed.
You will not be disappointed at all. And it's not, as DB Jackson said, it's not a Chihuahua killer.
No, it's great. You need a summer read for like the next couple months or the next couple weeks of summer. Like get in there.
Get it. Yes, this is it. This is it, guys. But thank you for joining us. We do have a Substack now.
Find it on Linktree on Instagram or Substack, Spells from the Shelf. We've got 3 essays up so far. Looking forward to putting some more up. And you can hear the pod on all the major platforms.
All the major platforms. So feel free to follow us wherever you choose to listen and let us know what you think. Until next time.
Woo-woo.
Bye.